This NASCAR 2024 news and mailbag edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by the Hockey Gambling Podcast's brand new YouTube page. The Hockey Guys are giving away a hoodie to celebrate their new YouTube channel. Register today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you ask me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into a new week and welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Did I say new week? It's Thursday. Where the hell am I? We did an episode earlier this week too.
What are our days anymore? It doesn't matter.
You know what's great is that we live in a world where it probably is a new week for somebody. So if it's a new week for you, then
maybe somebody's checking us out on Monday. It's a new week for them. There you go.
Oh my God. I'm telling you right now, my kids have been on break for the last week or 2 weeks now. And it's just, I lose track of days.
Hey, my daughter went back to school today. So new week for her, right?
There you go.
Kind of that weird go back on a Thursday, Friday, and then, ease them back in. So it's a new week. It's good.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way, to you being able to take your daughter back to school. I stopped waiting a few days for that to happen. So, here we are.
It's nice when they go back.
I know, right?
It's nice to have them home, but you know how it is.
Good to send them back away.
You know what else, Rod?
Yes.
1 month from today. 1 month from today is the Clash of the Coliseum. 1 month from today, we'll be making money on NASCAR bets, on NASCAR DFS. Oh, it's gonna be so fucking beautiful. I cannot fucking wait. It is like it's that close. We're almost there. Again, we just need some Xfinity and some Truck Series odds. We'll be talking those as soon as they drop. You know we will. Pretty soon we're gonna have our official championship picks. We're gonna be full on into Clash of the Coliseum week, laying down bets, giving out DraftKings plays. Oh, I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, and it's going to be, again, finally something for us to talk about that are odds related, which, by the way, books, this is your daily reminder to just get on your stuff and start giving us odds.
Start just spamming them with messages. That's what I've been doing. Of course, you get the generic response. We're working.
I love your answer, but I love the non-answer answer that you got. I'm not going to.
I sent you the one yesterday from Caesars, and they go, we're currently working on this and they will be up soon. Like, okay, that's very generic. Like, which one should we select? Okay, this one, copy and paste. Here you go. Thanks a lot, Caesars.
A, B, C, or D. I mean, look, and they at least got back to you. Some places won't even get back to you. So
they could have
even if it's a canned response, then it's still a response. But hey, I want to take a second and I want to say congratulations to Justin and Miranda. You've heard a lot of the old-fashioned fantasy football ads on the show as I've slowed down on playing them because I don't want to burn you all out, but you guys know of them already. They celebrated 100 episodes last night. Cody and I were both guests on the show, and it's a hell of a show. If you guys aren't listening to it, you should, because they are two of the better voices here on this network, and 100 episodes, as Cody and I both know, no easy feat let alone 200 to 300 episodes. So for those guys doing a bang up job over there on Old Fashioned Football, just a bang up show, bang up wife and husband team. And it was fun to be on the show with them last night.
Yeah, obviously, fantasy football pretty much over. Should be over. You should not be playing championship games this weekend. But it's still, they've got the whole, just like us, they're going to keep going all through the offseason. There's plenty to talk about. I started a new dynasty league this week, and I had them making a few of their selections live on the show last night as it got to be their turns. So that was awesome. It never ends, just like this doesn't. So yeah, check them out. Go check out that show. It was a lot of fun. We were both on near the beginning of the show. But the whole thing, I stuck around and listened to the whole thing, and it was great. A lot of fun. And 100, it's a huge milestone. Like we're at over 300 now, and we've kind of celebrated each time we've hit the next 100. But like that first 100 is such a, like, you've made it this far, you've actually made it type of thing, which is really good. So shout out to them. They're awesome, and we're doing a crossover with them next week. Talk a little fantasy football. Talk a little. We got this with this whiskey. So we're going to incorporate the F1. It's from the F1 Alfa Romeo team. So, yeah, from Whistle Pigs. It's going to be a lot of fun. Fill both of our off seasons as we get closer to racing here. So can't wait to talk to them some more.
Yeah, for those of you who have never attempted to host a podcast, to create a podcast, to do anything with a podcast, like that 100 episode mark is almost the you've arrived mark, because most shows will never make it to 100 episodes, and very few shows make it very far past 100. If they're not serious and if they're not doing it for real. So, I mean, it's been a while, I guess, since I've gushed over all of you that listen, because I still look at the numbers as much as I possibly can, because I don't like to dwell on numbers, as you guys all know. Just the fact that one of you even listens in the first place is a success to me. Bosses have a little different take on it, but for me, you sitting there listening right now is enough for me to continue to do this show. But I will say, those of you that have stuck around over the off season, it's just a testament to how much this show has legs and how much we enjoy putting it on for you. And again, for Rye Cape, we're here for you, buddy. How's it going, guys?
Hey, Rye.
Fantastic.
Going
discussion
good
over you and the whole audience.
It does, like, just talking throughout the off season. Like, it hasn't, like before, it does, like NASCAR off season, even though it's so short, right? It's a little over 100 days usually. But like before, it seemed like it just was forever. And it's like, God, NASCAR's been gone for months. It's finally back, but keeping up on the news, talking about stuff, having the odds through the off season, like, it makes it feel like it never went away. Kind of get a little break, right? It's not the daily grind of cranking out, races each and every week, but like, and now we're almost there. A month to the Clash today. It's fantastic. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, again, as many people as continue to listen through the off season, we appreciate it. Sometimes we're just blabbering about a lot of nothing, but hey, gotta find a way to get through it. And we've had some really good discussions and things to talk about that have been great, as far as that's going to help us go through this next season of betting. And like Rye is doing, drop your questions here in the chat. We've got some questions from the Discord, got some questions that were sent to us. Rye's dropping questions, so we're here to answer questions today, and that's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's do that. But let's first tell you about Underdog Fantasy, as we always do. Underdog Fantasy as a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. It's NFL, it's NBA, it's NHL, it's college basketball, college football. It's racing later on in the season. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. We're going to give you so many underdog plays over the course of the next season. So batten down the hatches. You're about to get force-fed and spoon-fed and given so many good plays that you're going to walk away with a ton of money from your Underdog Fantasy season. So watch along, make your picks, maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog's going to double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. The guys over at the Hockey and Gambling Podcast have just launched their brand new YouTube channel, and they are celebrating by giving away an HGP hoodie. You want in on the action? Yes, you do. You go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP to enter. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP. Yeah, get down on that hoodie. It's awesome. I definitely should sport one. I think we're about to get our Christmas bonus from the company. So I'll put that right back into the store, because I guess what better way to spend your hard-earned money than give it back to the company that gave it to you in the first place, right?
Yeah, I've already got my my card loaded for that purchase.
I love it. All right, so listen, we said that we were going to answer some questions. We said that we were going to open it up and open the floor up to you guys and give you a chance to ask us some stuff. It didn't have to be racing related. It could just be anything in general. We got a few hits on our Discord, and of course, we got some right here. So I guess we start with Rye's first question, if we're okay with that. How's it going, guys? No, I'm just kidding. That's a good. It's going well. Rye.
Asked and answered. Next. Oh.
Yeah, next. And by the way, get in on the YouTube channel too if you want live questions answered, or even if we talk back and forth to you. Just because that's the way this is going to be going a lot more over the next few. I mean, obviously, our pick shows are going to stay relatively the same, but we may open it up at the end for a few back and forth discussions or whatever. So make sure you're in on the YouTube channel and subscribe. So let's start with Rye. He's got his first mailbag question, and then we'll get to some Discord questions as well. Rye says, mailbag question: does Gibbs win a race this season? I'm pretty sure that everybody here knows exactly what Cody's thoughts on this are. Cody,
yes,
does he win a race?
He is his over is half a race, minus 150 over on Caesars. I don't care. It's minus 150 all over this. I think he wins at least one race this season. Maybe he even wins a second one, but he's going to be in contention a lot more. I think that we're going to be talking about him top 5 a lot. I'm hoping maybe even early in the season, where the books are sleeping on it a little bit. If he kind of busts out of the gate looking good, we know how fast those Gibbs cars are. We know how talented he is. He was really, really starting to show it near the end of last season. And yeah, I mean, everybody should know at this point, I am very, very big on Ty Gibbs this season. So yeah, I'm hammering over half a win for him. And hey, honestly, my biggest bet last season, he was at 1.5 wins last season. So I mean, that books thought coming into it he was going to be, and then it was like pump the brakes. My biggest bet in the offseason last year was Ty Gibbs under, because the rookies just don't win a bunch of races like that. But totally flipping course on that this season. I think this is when the wins start rolling in. Since he didn't win a race last year, you're getting a break. If they thought going into last year he could win 1.5, why couldn't he win 1.5 this season in his second season in the equipment he is with the talent he's got? So glad they're kind of sleeping on it a little. They do have, it's fairly well, juice to the over, but I'm still going to lay the juice at minus 150 because you only pay the juice if you lose, Rob.
Indeed. It's funny. You were almost going to say this holiday season, and it's like, yeah, you are big on this holiday season, but this season in general. So listen, I do think he wins, right? Honestly, I do think he wins a race. I think we're both in agreement with that. I think he does win. The only issue, though, as we head into this, is which one. And on a week-to-week basis, I don't know that you could. I mean, his odds have to be really good, I think, if you really want to put and try to pick your spot as where he's going to win, because it could be a super speedway, obviously, that anybody can win at. It could be a road course, which he was good at the Xfinity Series. So, I mean, the only problem is, where do you bet him? That's my only issue this season.
But his number is going to be so big that there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get in on it. So I think, we'll look back obviously at last season and see where his kind of sweet spots were. I feel like, just off the top of my head, maybe 1.5 miles weren't as great for him. He was a little better on the shorter tracks. A road course, I think, is the best shot at it. So I'm hoping maybe we get to Coda and he's a little bit of a longer odds, or when you get to Sonoma, in June there or something like that. I feel like that's the type of race maybe we'll see him win, but he can be in competition to win anywhere with as good of a car as he is, with as talented as he is. It could be the Daytona 500. It could be any race, throughout the season. So I do think he's easily going over 1. And honestly, if why not give us some alternate win totals, please? Another thing that would be great, because I bet him over 1.5 at plus money. I would take that as well.
Ooh, that's a good market. Alt win totals.
Yeah, let us climb those ladders.
Yeah, slide that little marker over to the next.
All these
one.
books have that little slider thing. Like, just implement that and let us make our own bets. Like, why not? Come on.
So I guess if we were to suggest a strategy of any sort with the Ty Gibbs thing, it would be, I would think that maybe road courses are a good place to start, right? Just to maybe throw that. Rye said he would bet him over 1.5 as well. And look, 2 wins is not out of the realm of possibility, right? You say you get 1, you can get 2, especially a guy that talented. So yeah, books, if you really want some action, we're begging you for some sliders there to get that. But yeah, again, I guess the strategy would be to maybe start with the road courses, see where you feel comfortable. Anywhere else, kind of betting him. Check back last season and where his best tracks were in the Cup and go from there. But yeah, again, he's gonna get 1. He'll probably get 2. Who knows? It's just a matter of how you feel comfortable. So
and like honestly, in as good of a car as he's in and as talented as he is, like he's one of those guys who could rip off more than that. And I mean, you get a William Byron, and I get he's a little farther into his career, but win 6 races, and it's a little bit of a surprise, but I wouldn't be super shocked if a Ty Gibbs went, because Rod, once he figures it out, he is going to figure it out, and he's going to take off. So I'm not saying he's going to win all those races this season, but when that season does come, it's going to come in a hurry, and it won't shock me when it does happen.
Cody's going to break that slider. Cody's grabbing that slider.
Give me the over. Give me the over 4.5. That's fine.
There's like Cody. There's no more races. You can't go over 32. All right. JDK's in the chat. Been a while, boys. Been busy losing money on the NFL. Great hearing you guys again.
Same here, pretty much.
Yeah, that's why the NFL's a sucker bet. You got to go for the gold. We're happy to have you back too as well. All right, let's turn our attention to the Discord. We do have PJB Sports Pod in the Discord. Doesn't have a Twitter, which is fine. You have an X instead. No, I'm just kidding. He's got some racing fun relation.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Yeah, we all have X's. All right, so his first question, and I think all of these are fun. So let's kind of go down all these. It says, from anywhere in the world, what's one track did you put on the schedule, and which one would you kick off to make room on the schedule, assuming the series didn't want to add more total races? I've given this one some serious thought. Have you actually thought about this one yet?
I have not. I kind of breezed over them, but I didn't want to. I like the more thinking of it on the go. That's my type of question answering. So
Cody's a gut reaction guy.
I'm a gut reaction guy. But no, I would like to see like a Pikes Peak type of place, right? Ooh, because it's somewhat close to me. I've got family there I could go stay with. Be a little bit on the selfish side, but hey, I think that would be really cool. The elevation and how does that affect the drivers, all that. I think it'd be fun to do some type of thing like that. So yeah, give me the old Pikes Peak International Raceway. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, I'd like something like that. As far as taking something off, you probably just drop off something that has a second date, right? Maybe like the Charlotte Roval, even, because if we're not going to go back to the Oval, we don't have to worry about the cardboard. Yeah, I think that I would probably go with that.
For me, I want to see how the Cup cars do on Monaco. I know it's an F1 track, but that would be a fantastic way to just sort of, say, all right, these are the two disciplines. Which one puts on a more exciting race on such a storied track, right? I mean, we know the F1 guys do it, and NASCAR is taking on street courses. So if we're going to take on a street course, why don't we take on the street course, right?
Well, and yeah, to that point, JDK says do a race weekend with Indy for the Vancouver Indy. I think just doing a race weekend with Indy, like obviously they have the past couple of years at Indy on the road course, and that's gone away this year. And so there's not really a crossover, between them. Like go to the Long Beach Grand Prix or Nashville. Like IndyCar's already got all these street courses set up, and we've already broken into it now, right, with Chicago. So why not join them at Long Beach or at St. Pete or at Nashville when they go to these other street courses throughout the country? If the track's already going to be there, if you've already got the event going on, make it a double header. Give us a ton of great racing throughout the weekend. That's, I think, something that maybe they should have even done that before starting with Chicago, or bring Indy to Chicago with you, whatever the case may be. But they're already there. They're already doing it. Like tag along and give us some extra racing and make it a big weekend between the two. For whatever reason, I don't think NASCAR really cares about pairing up with Indy that much, which I think is unfortunate because I love both the series. Obviously, we talk about both of them throughout the season. But I think more weekends like that would be a lot of fun.
I'd love Long Beach. I'd actually go down and watch that race. Although it'd be funny because the only two that I really go to watch are 2 road courses. So I don't even have an oval near me anymore. Fontana one would not be there.
JDK
Vegas.
says Vegas. Yeah, well, unfortunately, F1 wants absolutely nothing to do with because that would be another, like, again, F1, like, they go to COTA already. We go to COTA. Put those together. Vegas would be great, and you can even make that, and it's after the season, obviously. Make it an exhibition race after the season or something, but I don't think F1 really cares about NASCAR because on the worldwide scale. But you would think wanting to expand the American audience, they've already got 3, and again, you're going to Miami already. You're going to COTA already. Like, tag along. But I don't think either series wants to back down to being second fiddle. They both want to be the main show. But come on, for the sake of everyone, just get together and give us some fun.
And then to take off, I'm with you, take off the Roval. And then, look, I'd be okay with taking that second date out of Atlanta. I think one Atlanta race is fine in the season.
Don't be taking away super speedways, Rod. What? Get out of here. Get out of here. No, give me more. Let's make it 8. Turn Texas into a super speedway too. I love betting on super speedways. You know,
I know you love betting on super speedways, but a second date in Atlanta.
And the racing is so exciting. Like, it's, oh, come on.
Aren't
you on the edge of your seat every second of these super speedway races?
Well, yeah, but
yeah,
that doesn't mean that I would be on the edge of my seat in Monaco, right?
Well, true, but that's why you get rid of the Roval that nobody cares about.
Yeah, the Roval's fine.
The Roval should go away and be a second Charlotte oval date, but whatever.
That's neither here nor there, I suppose. But all right, we'll get to more of your questions. But first, I want to tell you about Gametime. I already told you about Hall of Fame. I'm going to tell you about Gametime because buying tickets is absolutely an atrocious event, something you do not want to do. I think I put going and buying tickets akin to sitting through a second Atlanta date. It's just something I don't want to do. But again, for you guys now, you don't have to go through that hassle because you can go to Gametime. Gametime is going to give you everything you need to make the least painful experience that you can in buying tickets. Not only do you get the Gametime guarantee, because when you buy on Gametime, your tickets are going to be on time and authentic. That is their guarantee. Plus, you're going to get lower fees, better prices. Man, I'm telling you right now, if you find a seat in the same row, in the same section, you're going to get 110% of the difference of your ticket on top of what you paid for. It's going to be beautiful. Beautiful if you find it. So go looking because you want to make sure you cash in on that. Plus, it's also made for your phone. No fishing through any sort of junk mail, no anything. The app has your ticket right there for you. You definitely want to get down on this. So snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account. Redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now, let me tell you about Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. You can enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool. You're going to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. Let's move on to the next question that we got in there. I do like this one. What's a race/event every year that produces good racing that no one gives credit to or doesn't pay enough attention to? Cody, do you have a particular race that you feel like doesn't get the credit that it deserves?
Boy, that is actually interesting. I mean, I could say the second race at Atlanta because obviously Rod wants to get rid of it. Man, do you have one that pops to mind for you?
You know, it's funny, but I know that I don't feel like Dover gets enough respect. Okay. Honestly, I don't. I feel like it obviously the gimmicky of it gets the kind of notice, but I don't feel like it gets enough respect. I know that people are like, oh, it's boring, but I still feel like there's a lot of complicated racing that goes on because that track is not it's not your typical shape. It's not something
It's completely different than anything else.
That's what I'm saying. Like the technicality, and maybe it's because every time I go to Dover on my NASCAR, my controller is always so hard to get. No, I'm just kidding. But I just feel like when you go to Dover, and it's not the same as sitting in a sim. I know, sitting behind a controller, but it feels like it takes a different discipline because the corners are not always the same, and it always ramps up into this thin straight. I mean, it just feels like it's a different race altogether. And the technicality of being able to race on that track, I don't feel like people give that one enough credit for how hard it is to survive that Dover track.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. Bristol, Rice says Bristol's the most underrated track in NASCAR. I don't know though, because I think a lot of people, it's the last great Coliseum. It seems like it's got a lot of like fluff around it. So I don't know if it does always seem to produce great racing and everything. I'm trying to think of like a race, just even like last season. I don't know. It seems like, most of the races last year got yeses on the good race poll and all that from Jeff Gluck. I don't know as far as like what is one that doesn't produce the credit or whatever.
It's funny. We're kind of biased in that situation because we cover all of them. So
right. Well, and that's it. Yeah, I think like we're so far into it that, and like to be honest, every week we're pretty excited about the racing, and like Texas can be boring, and there'll be some boring races here and there sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like to us we overrate them all, and they're not overrate, but we hype them all up, and we love what we get out of them.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of where we're at. We're occupational hazards when it comes to that because we get excited for every race. So unfortunately, I don't know what's overrated, but I do feel like Dover sometimes slips out and between the cracks. So, all right, well then let's move over to the next one where it says favorite track to host an all-star or exhibition race. I'm going to be honest, I got recency bias, but North Wilkesboro was awesome this year. I really enjoyed that.
Awesome as far as the standpoint of it was cool to go back. The racing wasn't great, right? Because Kyle Larson just killed everyone. But I think the All-Star race is one that should just move around every year. Like, why do we need to have it in North Wilkesboro a couple seasons here? That's cool and great. And I think eventually that'll move to a points-paying race. But let's continue to move that around and maybe make it a track that doesn't always host a NASCAR race, a track that is different. So, again, I don't really have any big tracks off the top of my mind, but go to some different tracks. And again, I know infrastructure can be tough and getting somewhere that has good enough facilities for the week, but even some of these more local tracks, like just go in and have a NASCAR weekend. Like I think something like that would be a lot of fun. You could turn the Clash, where we're building the All-Star race inside of a football stadium if you're wanting to do a New York or a Chicago type of thing. And again, it would have to be dependent on the stadiums and when you could get in and time and everything. But obviously you're not going to do those in February because it's a little cold in those places and snowy. So, it could be something like that. But I just think that it should move around every year, even if it is tracks that, go put it in Kansas one year for an all-star race and then put it in, have it at Atlanta one year and then have it at, at North Wilkesboro one year, have it at Charlotte one year. Just go to a different track every year, just like the All-Star game does in the NBA or in the MLB. A different city, a different stadium hosts it every year. Let's do that with the Cup Series.
Would you want to see a Vegas All-Star event?
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, what better place to have All-Stars at than in Vegas, right? And let's expand it. Like let's have an Xfinity All-Star. Let's have a Truck Series All-Star. I know the Truck Series always accompanies them and has a points race, but why not give them some All-Star credit and have those guys in there and maybe open it up to retired drivers or something for the Truck Series. It could be expanded on a lot. Memorial Stadium, that's absolutely perfect right here in Lincoln. I will do everything I can to help you guys put that race on. Hey, we put 90,000 people in that stadium for a volleyball game earlier this summer. We could pack it out for a NASCAR race. Come on.
That'd be a blast. Definitely would love to see that. All right, let's do this one. What classic track would you bring back to the series? Could even be an alternate layout of a current track like Atlanta's Oval from the early aughts and 90s, or the version of Auto Club that is now ceasing to exist. I already have one right off the bat. For me,
Hear it.
I want to see Rockingham. Here's what's crazy about it. So for me, when I very first started watching NASCAR in 2003, the first race I ever watched obviously was the Daytona 500. Michael Waltrip won that one. But then when I went back home, that was when I was on the clock to start picking a favorite driver. So Rockingham was my very first race that I watched that I was like on my own. My brother wasn't with me to explain anything. It wasn't, and then of course I lost the race right after that. And the 04 season was the last time they raced on Rockingham as far as the Cup Series was concerned. But yeah, I mean, for me, I want to see Rockingham back. I miss that. I miss that track. I miss the mile, right? It's just a little over a mile. So it's another one of those not mile and a half cookie cutter tracks, but it's got its own personality. It had its own just characteristics and everything that I loved about it. And of course, it was on twice in the season, right? They went back twice to that track. I wouldn't mind seeing it just once. I mean, I loved it. It was such a fun race to follow up Daytona with, right? You go from this gigantic super speedway to the mile track at Rockingham. So I don't know, call me a little nostalgic, but I wouldn't mind seeing Rockingham come back.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. And I was just looking up to see, because I had thought I had seen something about them doing repairs, and this article's from back in May, but basically, they want NASCAR, and they've been putting millions and millions of dollars into it to make it race ready. And according to this, by February, they were planning on having it race ready. So maybe next year, right? North Wilkesboro ends up being a points race. Maybe the All-Star race ends up going to a Rockingham type of place. I think that would be great. I think that a place like Riverside would be pretty cool. That's one you always hear about, like one of the original, or like really the original road course in NASCAR. That's kind of the one you see as far as like going back in the day for road courses. If you want to add another road course, right, that'd be a cool one. Or even was it Texas World Speedway? Was that the really big one in Texas? That'd be a cool one. I think that there are a couple tracks that would be cool, and Rockingham I think would be awesome, and there's even a glimmer of hope that maybe we will end up getting that back.
God, that would be so much fun. I love that. And Jimmy didn't even finish well that day, but he still caught my eye. In fact, he finished like 41st in that race, and after starting 29th.
Can't even do that anymore.
No, you can't. You can't start 41st anymore. But yeah, that was Matt Kenseth ended up winning that one from. That was the last race Kenseth won in that. But yeah, again, just something I'd like to see again. So bring it back. Last but not least, what are your favorite sports to watch that aren't racing, and teams? What teams do you root for? He says he knows that NFL is the 49ers and the Patriots, but outside of the NFL, which is kind of the obvious, what other sport do you enjoy, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, NFL is definitely the big one. Huge into fantasy football, so very big on that. Love all forms of racing, obviously. We talk NASCAR, we talk IndyCar, we talk F1. Really, those are the main things that I watch is any racing and NFL football. College football, I love the Huskers, and I go through the pain of watching them every year for some stupid reason. Outside of that, college football lately has been dumb. I think that the expanded playoffs maybe will make it more exciting for me. I don't know if it's because the Huskers have been so bad for years now. I just college football doesn't do it for me a lot. Like I'll sit down and watch a national championship game this coming week, right? And that'll be a lot of fun and everything. Hopefully Michigan loses. But yeah, outside of that, like it really is just racing and NFL football for me. I don't get big into many other things. I'll watch MLB in the playoffs. I'll watch NBA in the playoffs. Otherwise, I'm not really sitting down to watch those.
Well, the answer to your question, PJB, is yes. To me. There is
Rod will watch anything.
I swear to God, will watch just about anything. And if there was a legit ESPN Ocho, that would probably be the first program on my remote control. I swear, I was a kid who grew up and was told from a very young age that I was too small to participate in team sports. It's just the way it was. I mean, if you look at me, I'm not a big honking figure. Therefore, I don't necessarily.
Never watched Spud Webb? Come on.
I said the same thing. I was like, Mookie, come on, let's go. Like I'm not necessarily all that much smaller than them, but and I didn't have that glory story where I overcame my height indifference to rise to I wasn't Rudy. Okay. I didn't get carried off of a field to people chanting my name. So I resigned myself to the next best thing, and that's, talking sports and being able to participate that way. But I loved everything. I watched almost everything I could. I watched American Gladiators when I was growing up. I watched the roller derby, like the Thunderbirds growing up. So that translated up to my adulthood where I'm watching anything from Australian rules football.
I always wondered who was watching cornhole when it's on ESPN. And
I watch cornhole when it's on ESPN. Swear I do. I actually I tweeted at the cornhole guys a long time ago. I bought my own cornhole set up in the backyard. I mean, I watch the pickleball stuff every once in a while. I'm telling you right now, if it's on, I will watch it. And my kids know this too, because if there's a sport on, all of a sudden it's dad's watching this. Dad, what are the odds on this? Because then it's always turns into a gambling question of what are the odds. So what do I enjoy though? I do enjoy football of all kinds. I love the CFL. I love arena football. I love indoor football. I love all of those. Again, I love Australian rules football. That is I just love watching that game so much. I don't have a favorite team to root for in that instance, but I will say that my Canadian football love extends to the Ottawa Red Blacks. That's my team. Chose them early. Started a podcast about them. So yeah, I mean, again, I'm a big sports guy, and it doesn't even have to be considered a sport for me to watch it, because I've watched some things that I question as to whether or not they're a sport or not. Axe throwing,
ESPN Plus.
Axe throwing. That's one that I've watched with some intensity. So yeah, it's definitely an all-encompassing thing with me.
I will say the one other one, college volleyball, I got super into that these past couple of years. So Nebraska is actually super good at that. They made it one loss season, made it to the championship game. Unfortunately, they lost in the championship game, but it's been a lot of fun to watch. It's those and obviously like my daughter's played volleyball this season, so watching her level and then watching these girls in the college level, like it's amazing how freaking good they are. But that was a lot of fun one to watch that we really followed every Husker game this year. At least we didn't really watch anybody else, but
I like women's hockey though. Women's hockey is a fun one to watch. That's a lot of fun to watch too.
Hockey is fun in person. I don't understand enough to watch on TV, I guess, but going to a hockey game in person is a lot of fun.
Well, it's because you get to watch all the fights in person.
Exactly.
We had two great hockey teams here, and unfortunately both of them are gone, but love to have them back. All right. JDK gave us some ones. I feel like these are good rapid fire questions for us because I think we can take care of these in sort of a rapid fire type of a situation. So JDK, you're still with us. Thank you for the questions. Let's get to the first one. It says, what do you think the biggest dynamic change will be from a team power dynamic this year? I mean, this one kind of lumps into another one that I'll go right next to it. So the biggest change from a power team dynamic, and do you think this will be a typical Hendrick Gibbs dominated year, or will RFK make big strides? So I think we'll put those two into one.
Yeah, so lumping it together, I mean, so Hendrick and Gibbs are always going to be kind of the top, right? And they're going to be the cream of the crop. But as we've seen over the last couple of seasons with this new car, other teams are still competitive. At the end of the season, is Hendrick and Gibbs going to have more wins than any other teams? Probably. There's a good chance, right? But we're seeing teams chip away at that. And I think, somebody had pointed out that I was talking to the other day, like, well, it's always Hendrick, Gibbs, or Penske. Like, they're the only teams winning championships. But you look at it, and other teams weren't trying as much or putting in the effort. And now you look at it, and Trackhouse, they want to win. They will spend the money. They will spend the capital. 2311, they'll spend the money. They've got the drivers. RFK, they'll spend the money. They've got the drivers. They're putting together the program. So you're getting these other teams that definitely are chipping away at it. At the end of the day, does Hendrick and Gibbs have the best drivers? Do they have the best equipment? In a general sense, yeah, for the most part. 2311, and we'll lump Rye Cape's question into this in the chat here. 2024 breakout driver, Byron and Busher last season. It's Tyler Reddick for me this season. Over 1.5 wins is the absolute most smashed bet I'm going to make this offseason. He's going to win 4 or 5 races at least, I think. And I think that pushes 2311 to be more of a competitor. He's my pick to win the championship. I think that he could break through, win the championship, and all of a sudden, 2311 kind of more in the conversation here, right? Do they expand? They're building a brand new huge shop. Denny's talked about wanting another charter. If they get this charter agreement done, do they expand to another car and bring in more and kind of continue to compete? I think that that's a possibility. We've seen it with Trackhouse already with Chastain. Now they've got Suarez still. They're adding Zane Smith sort of to the portfolio ish through Spire. So they're making stuff as well. So again, it's still going to be Hendrick and Gibbs at the top, but there are other teams, mainly those three teams, I think, but even some other teams that we've seen compete here and there as well. And I think that will continue to be the case.
So Josh Berry, not your breakout driver of the year. That's mine, by the way, Ryan. Josh Berry's going to win 10 races this year.
The books seem to think so.
Books got it right on him. He is going to come out and win the championship in all three series. Even though he's not racing for the championship in all three, he's going to still win them. No,
I saw somebody, I can't remember if it was a Facebook group or if it was a Reddit question or something. It was like, which race this year will Josh Berry win his first race at? And I'm like, do you have the 2025 schedule already? Because he's not. Rookies don't win. How many times do we have to say it? Ty Gibbs didn't win. If Ty Gibbs, the most talented rookie we've seen in how long, did not win a race last year, Josh Berry's not winning a race this year. At super speedways will be his only chance, and he's not super great at super speedways either. So not happening. But SHR, a team that has been there before, they've won multiple championships in that stable. They're a little off right now, right? We know that. And I think they'll get back there at some point. We've talked about their core nucleus being young. Not yet, but in the future, I think they could get back to being competing. And we didn't even mention Penske in there, and they've won the last two championships. So
I get, and so one, to me, you could kind of trace it all back to when they broke up the big monopolies, right? When they told them they can't own more than 4 cars and said, listen, we're gonna distribute the wealth and kind of give it. But even still, it kind of gave those top teams more money to sink into the cars that they had. It was almost like a reverse effect, right? Where we saw more teams pop up, but then we saw the dominant teams start to get a little stronger because they had a little more money to toss into those.
Those 5 team house days, like all 5 of those cars were so good, and notoriously, like, they did not share anything. Can you imagine if they'd have shared info in that? Oh man. Yeah. Talk about a true dynasty. Oof, would have been crazy.
I don't think we see any huge shifts in dynamics. We haven't really seen any huge shifts in dynamics this year or compared to last year too, even with the next gen car. I think it's all a subtle change. I think it all starts to sort of meld together within the next couple of years is when we're starting to see.
Yeah, and you're going to get mid-tier teams that kind of take another step. Like I think Legacy, we've talked about that. We think maybe they're going to kind of step up a little. And even at the bottom of the garage, BJ McLeod has sold off his charter. He was kind of that one lone duck at the bottom. You've got Rick Ware down there, but now they've got full-time drivers in that car. They're expanding the partnership. They're going to win races, but they're going to be a little bit more competitive from the back. And so I think overall it is closing in a little bit from all through the thing. But, at the top, it's still going to be Hendrick and Gibbs for the most part.
Yeah. And yeah, for the foreseeable future, I think, until these guys really
with younger guys like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs around, it's not going to change for a while.
No. All right, quickly, who wins the most polls this year? Christopher Bell did it last year. So, okay, that's your answer this year?
Yes. Unless Ryan Newman's coming back full-time, it's Christopher Bell.
Yeah, it's got to be Christopher Bell or Denny Hamlin. I think either one of those guys. Denny Hamlin had 4 as well as William Byron, but I don't think William Byron is going to get there. So, yeah, for me, it's either
Christopher Bell, man, they really figured something out. And if they keep hitting on that, you just see – you go through kind of spurts of having guys that just win polls like that. Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man, kind of most notorious for that. But Christopher Bell could easily be kind of that next guy.
How many DNFs does Bubba Wallace have?
He's got to hate on his 2 favorite drivers. Bubba
he does too.
One of them.
Wallace had 5 last season, by the way.
Only 5. Like, that's not. Look at Kyle Larson. He had way more than 5. Again, Bubba's a great driver. I think that Tyler Reddick taking that huge step that I expect this season is going to help Bubba. Bubba's going to win 1 or 2 races as well, and have a solid season. I'll
take the under. If we set it at the same as 5, maybe I even take the under at 3. I don't think he's going to not finish too many races this season. I think a lot of his problems were not self-created.
And he continues to mature. I think that he's going to keep them very minimal.
Okay. Do I ask the last question?
It's just him hating on Austin Dillon, which, hey, this is going to be Austin Dillon's retirement year, so let's be nice.
All right. Well, we won't. If you want to read the JDK's last question, this is a perfect chance for you to go join the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Get in there, join the NASCAR channel. We won't spoil that one for you. So,
all right. One final question. Nick Fortune did. He texted me this one, but I'm going to ask an interesting question for people that go to the racetrack. Favorite racetrack food? What's your favorite thing to eat when you're at the racetrack?
You know, it's crazy because I know that in Sonoma, they've got amazing garlic fries. Amazing garlic fries. Because we're right there in the Bay Area where Gilroy and garlic is all one. So I love me some garlic fries from the racetrack there. I know it's not sexy, but buddy,
hey,
garlic fries are sexy.
For me, it's just a cheeseburger. Like, I love a good cheeseburger at the track. They always seem to be good. They're always nice and warm off the grill back there. You go to the dirt track, get a little dirt, oil mixed in there, makes it taste even better. But yeah, just love a good old racetrack cheeseburger. Nothing too fancy. Hits the spot and gets you through the day.
I could have been uppity and said, I don't know, because all I eat is press box food. But that's
I know. Yeah. The last few times going to the track, there's always good food in the media center, which is very nice. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I 100%. I will tell you right now, for those of you who have not necessarily been on the receiving end of press box treatment, and every once in a while you get one that doesn't necessarily cater to you very well, but boy, there is nothing like the press box experience. And so it's one of these days we're going to have to give away an experience where you get to come with us to a race in the press box. That'll be as our photographer, obviously, because that's how we roll.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, no more questions in the YouTube, so we'll go ahead and put a pin in this one. This is a good time. I think a lot of these stretch your leg type episodes are good every once in a while because we just get to have some fun and talk.
Just sit back, relax. Again, it's it was a month today. Now, by the time you're done listening to this, we might be even less than a month, and we're getting there. We're so close to having actual race picks. Oh, love it. Steven in the comments, he says he's a photographer.
Bring it. See,
so
Steven?
There you go. We'll let the hook. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That we wouldn't even be lying at all. Like
exactly.
That's fun.
Yeah, works out perfect.
No, and honestly, for those of you who like we said, stick through these episodes, fantastic. We're so glad, because who else is really talking NASCAR right now? There aren't too many people out there talking.
Well, we were even looking, was there any news to talk about? And you went to NASCAR.com and there's not, everybody's out for the holiday. There's nothing going on. So
crickets.
And Steven's already covered a couple of races. That's pretty awesome.
Actually, you know what, Steven? We need to. Why don't you join? If you're in the Discord, hit the Discord. We got some questions for you. We may make you our what you call it, our main man. So, all right, Cody, I think it's a good place as any to go ahead and end today's episode. So as we draw this one to a close, as we always do, let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
Yep, I'm on X at Husker_Zeeb. Find all my work over there. I had to steal it from you once, but yeah, that's it.
How'd it feel? Feel good? I'm on X as well, in the club, and on the regular Twitter machine at RJ Villagomez. Link at the bottom. Everything I got going on. Got a Royal Rumble episode. I got a Royal Rumble article coming out here pretty soon. Catch that on SBR. Kind of fun. Take a dive into some wrestling stuff. But other than that, find the rest of it there. We'll be back again to I think tomorrow with some episodes.
Probably.
If not,
F1 Gambling Podcast too. Check that out.
Yes,
please. Coming out soon.
Definitely got one of those coming out. So, all right, we'll be back again later. We'll see you then. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.